Alright, I'm gonna say the quiet part out loud. Hogwarts Legacy not having romance was both the safest choice and also the reason the relationships felt like they stopped one step short of real. And before you spam, bro, that's weird. They're kids. Hold that thought, because that exact argument is why this topic is a minefield. But here's the deal. If Hogwarts Legacy 2 wants to feel like the sequel people think it's gonna be, it has to solve this problem. Not with cringe, not with dating sim stuff, with a system that feels human, doesn't get creepy, and actually makes Hogwarts feel alive. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna pitch the only relationship system that would actually work in a Wizarding World RPG without turning the comment section into a war zone. Before we go any further, yes or no? Should Hogwarts Legacy 2 have romance? And if your answer is yes, keep it simple. Crush system or full romance quest? When Hogwarts Legacy dropped, we got these big relationship quest lines with Sebastian, Natty, and Poppy. And people got attached. Like, attached. But the game drew a hard line. No romance options at all. And that wasn't an accident. Avalanche made a deliberate call to keep it out. So today we're breaking down why Hogwarts Legacy 1 avoided romance, the real reason, not just the obvious ones, why Hogwarts Legacy 2 might revisit it, and the only version of this that won't feel awkward or dumb. Let's start with the elephant in the room. The player character is a student. Avalanche and a bunch of outlets have pointed out the age issue. The protagonist is basically mid-teens, and that complicates romance design immediately. Even if you personally think teen crushes are normal, and yeah, they are, game devs aren't just designing a story, they're managing perception. Because the second you give players a romance button, the internet doesn't ask, is this wholesome? It asks, how can this be abused? And that's the PR nightmare they avoided. So yeah, the age factor is real, but that's not the only reason. A developer quote that stuck out to me was basically, we made a conscious decision not to do romance. There's no way to do it well when the protagonist can be anyone. And that's the real design headache. In Hogwarts Legacy, you aren't a defined character with a specific personality. You're a custom avatar, so the devs would have to account for different player personalities, different morality choices, different quest outcomes, different house choices, and still make romance feel earned and not like a vending machine. Most games solve this by giving the protagonist a voice/personality that anchors interactions. Hogwarts Legacy didn't fully do that. It leaned into you are whoever you want. So if romance gets added without the foundation, it becomes pick flirt line A, receive cutscene, and done. And players would roast it alive. Here's what's funny. Hogwarts Legacy already built the scaffolding for romance without ever calling it romance. Those companion quest lines were basically relationship arcs. Loyalty, betrayal, secrets, bonding, and conflict. And people shipped characters hard because the writing gave them just enough emotional fuel, then slammed the door. And multiple guides straight up tell players there are no romance options, even though you spend long stretches with companions. So, what happened? The game accidentally created the desire for romance by giving you almost romance tension, and then refusing to finish the sentence. That's why the romance question keeps coming back, not because people want a dating sim, but because they want their bonds to matter. Now, we don't have a full official feature list for a sequel, obviously, but we do have strong signals that Warner Bros. Sees a Hogwarts Legacy successor as a major priority, a couple of years down the road. And when a company doubles down on a franchise like that, the sequel usually aims for one thing: more engagement, more replayability, and more player story. Romance, or at least relationship systems, are basically cheat codes for replayability because they create different outcomes, they motivate multiple playthroughs, they generate social media discussion, and they keep people emotionally invested beyond loot and spells. Also, Warner Bros. Has been reshaping its game strategy and focusing on core franchises like Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacy, among others. That typically pushes sequels to be bigger, stickier, and more feature complete. So Hogwarts Legacy 2 might not add romance because fans asked, it might add it because it's the logical evolution of the system Hogwarts Legacy 1 already flirted with. So here's my pitch. If Hogwarts Legacy 2 does romance, it has to be one of these two versions, or it's gonna probably fail. No kissing, no date me menus. Instead, bond level like trust, respect, rivalry, and loyalty. You unlock unique duo missions, house-specific secrets, special dialogue, small cinematic moments, hand squeeze, awkward silence, walk me back to my common room. It gives you the emotional payoff without turning into a dating simulator. And option B, if they age up the setting, even slightly, then romance becomes easier to justify and write. But if they don't, then they should stick with the other option. Because let's be real, the romance argument isn't really about romance. It's about feeling like the world reacts to you. And Hogwarts Legacy's biggest weakness wasn't combat or the map. It was that relationships often felt like they existed in a bubble. You do the quest lines, and then life goes on, like nothing happened. Hogwarts Legacy 2 should fix that with consequences, not just romance, consequences. Alright, here's the one thing that would actually work and keep people replaying. First, 4 relationship tracks. Every main companion has friendship, support, loyalty and trust, rivalry, competition, jealousy, ideological clash, secrets, what you know, what you hide and what you reveal, and reputation, how others interpret your bond. So now the same companion can feel completely different across playthroughs. Second, choices that change how they see you. Remember the dev concern, protagonist can be anyone. Solve it by making companions react to patterns, not single lines. If you keep using unforgivables, if you keep lying, if you keep playing hero, they all shift. A dance night moment without dance night. There's always a big school event in Harry Potter style stories. Not literally a dance, but a tournament, a ceremony, a field trip, a crisis. During that moment, your bond decides who shows up for you, who covers for you, who rats you out, and who risks themselves. That's romance-adjacent tension, but it's still story first.